Okay, so this is your second video. So this video is going to be talking about how we use matrices to solve systems of equations. All right, so I know you were in class when we were starting doing systems. These are the systems, what they normally look like. We had a couple different methods. We graphed, we had substitution, and then also elimination. So these were the ones when we got to elimination, right, where you had to like multiply one of the equations we wanted equal but opposite. So that's what these look like. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn it up a little bit, and now if you look, we are going to do systems that are 3x3 systems, meaning I have 3 variables, x, y, and z, and I have 3 equations. Now you can solve these by hand. They're just very time consuming, and if you make one tiny mistake in the very beginning, it just throws off your whole problem. So instead of using just by hand how to solve these, I'm going to show you how to solve them using matrices. And then I'm also going to show how you can use that method to solve matrices that look like this, the ones that we've already done. You can also use matrices to solve that as well. Okay, so you're going to need your calculator, so go ahead and grab that. On the other side of this paper, so this information, it's called, what we're going to be using is called reduced row echelon form. All right, so it's a really complicated process. You can do it by hand. What's happening is it's doing a series of row operations. It's kind of complicated. I was going to show you a video on what the calculator is doing for you, but it's kind of complicated and confusing. So instead, I'm just going to tell you that what happens is we put this stuff into our calculator, and it does reduced row echelon form. It does a bunch of calculations and then gives us the answer, right? So by just us pressing enter, it gives us an answer. So I'm going to show you how to put this into your calculator and how to solve a 3x3 system. Okay. All right. So I gave you this paper because it does kind of go through the steps here. So I just wanted to make sure that you had the steps in writing. Again, you can always pause and rewatch the video as many times as you need to. So if this is our problem right here, all right, notice that it's in standard form. Standard form means that all the x's are lined up, all the y's are lined up, or the z's are lined up, and all the answers are lined up. Okay, and if you kind of look at this, if you think in matrix form, like, right, think of it like you have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So these are all your x's, these are all your y's, all your z's, all your answers, and then we separate them by their equations. So you can see that when we do these, we're going to have a matrix that is a 3x4 matrix. All right, so anytime we're doing a 3x3, solving a system, three equations, 3 variables, your matrix is always going to be a 3x4 matrix. Okay, now this line does not appear on your calculator, right? So they're just trying to show you that these were all of the numbers that went with your variables, and then these were the answers. Okay, and then so we put those in, and then it says go back to home screen. To go back to home screen, you do second quit. All right, and then we're going to press second matrix, scroll to the right to math, and then scroll down to this right here, RREF. So RREF is reduced row echelon form. Okay, now I'll explain what this B is referencing a shortcut to get to RREF. All right, I'm going to write down what the shortcut is here, and then I'll show it to you. But once you hit second matrix, you scroll to the right to math right here. So after this step right here, when you go over to math, if you hit the alpha, which is the green key, and then you hit the key that says apps, which is diagonal from it, it will automatically pull up this RREF. Okay, and I'm going to show you that here in a second, but that might be good to write down. So once you do that, you'll then put in your matrix that you wanted to do the RREF to, and then you'll get something that looks like this right here. Okay, so what is nice about this is that they should always end up kind of looking the same. So it'll look like this. So we'll have 1, 0, 0. And then in this case, it was this. So remember, when we put our equations in, the first row were all your x's, all your y's, all your z's, right? So if you think in your head, this column's x, this column's y, this column's z, and this was always our answer, right? That's how we were putting it in here. So if you look, it's saying 1x, 0y, 0z. Well, if it's 0y and 0z, then that means that they don't even exist, right? So we just have x, so it tells us that x equals 14. Here, because the 1 is under the y column, that means y equals -3. And since the 1 is under the z column, that means that equals 15. Z equals 15. So when you do it on your calculator, you're only looking for this last column. Now, if this side doesn't look like this with the 1s and 0s, if it looks different or has other numbers in here or fractions or decimals, then you know that something went wrong, or it could be a no solution or infinite solution, and I'll show you those later. So for now, if you get something that has like decimals here or even here, all of our answers are whole numbers. So if you're not getting whole numbers in your matrix, something went wrong and you need to fix it, okay? All right, so let's go back and let's just try. So if you flip this paper over, we're just gonna look at this problem right here, and we're gonna put this into our calculator. All right, so I'm gonna show you what I'm doing. You don't have to write this out every single time. Again, I'm just trying to show you what I'm gonna put into the calculator. We're taking just the numbers and not the letters, right? So this is -6. Now, this is just -y. What number is actually in front of y? We just don't see it. Yep, a 1. So this would be -1. So be careful, since it's a minus, it's a negative. Here, this would be -3, and then -6. Now I'm going to go to the second equation. Again, I'm just taking the numbers. So I have 5, -3, -2, and -20. And then down here, I have 2, -5. Now we have a -z. So again, there's really a 1 right there, right? So this is -1 and -20. All right, so that's what we're going to put into our calculator. Again, you don't have to write this out every single time. I'm just kind of showing you where I'm getting these numbers from. Again, this is a 1, 2, 3 rows by 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So this is a 3 by 4. So let's go to our calculator. All right, so I'm going to hit second matrix. Okay, remember from the last video I showed you where matrix was. Again, it's this x to the -1. So right there, so I'm hitting second, and then I'm hitting this key right here, this x to the -1, because matrix is right above that, and I hit that. We're going to scroll over to edit. I'm going to edit the first one. It doesn't matter. I always do the first one because there's no need for me to keep matrices in here, so it doesn't matter if I change it. So I'm going to hit edit, so I press enter. This is a 3 by 4, and then press enter. And now I'm just going to enter in these numbers. All right, so go ahead and do that. Again, if you need to pause the video, do that. Okay, so I put all those numbers in. Now I hit second quit. So over here, we're right here. We did this, and then we just hit second quit. So we did step 1. All right, so then we're gonna do step 2. So I'm gonna hit second matrix. Now, this is where I told you there is a shortcut, right? So for this, I'm going to scroll to the right to math. That's the hardest part. Students keep forgetting to scroll to the right. So you need to make sure that you scroll to the right there. So you have to go over to math, okay? So over to math. And then here, you can either scroll all the way down and see, be careful, because there's an REF and there's an RREF. And we want the double REF right here, this B. Or, instead of scrolling all the way down, right, I'm under math. So again, I just came to matrix, scroll over to math. This is where I said you could do that shortcut, that alpha and then apps. So if I hit alpha and then I hit apps, it just pulls up that RREF for me, and I don't have to scroll down to it, okay? Again, one more time, let me show you what I did. I hit second matrix, scrolled to the right under math, hit alpha apps. Now I need to tell the calculator which matrix I wanted to do the RREF to. So I hit second matrix, and mine was A, so I'm just going to press enter, and then I press enter again. Now, as we look at this answer, right, so if we look at this answer, I have 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. That's the pattern I want, right? This tells me X, this middle row tells me Y, the last row tells me Z. So X equals -1, Y equals 3, and Z equals 3. So you have two ways of writing this out as a solution. All right, you can write it out separately. So I can say x equals -1, y equals 3, and z equals 3. Or you can write it out as three numbers like this, and it's known that this is alphabetical order, x, y, z. It does not matter to me which way you do it. Okay, it's up to you. All right, let's try number 2 real quick. So I'm gonna clear this out. I go into second matrix, over to edit. It's a 3 by 4, and again, I'm just pulling the numbers, not the letters, right? So this is just A, so that's really just 1, -4, 2, -1, -3, -3, -5, -25, 5, -5, 2, and 9. Again, if you need to pause the video, please feel free to do that. So now I hit second quit, and now I hit second matrix, scroll to the right to math. This is my shortcut, alpha apps, and then I need to tell it second matrix. I need to tell it to pull in matrix A, press enter, and again we're looking at the last column. So we have 3, 2, 2 as a solution. Okay? All right, what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to try either 3 or 4, whichever. Try it on your own. Pause the video, try that, and then I'm going to pull up the answers. All right, so go ahead and pause and try 3 or 4. It doesn't matter. Okay, so if you completed 3 or 4, here are the correct answers. So for number 3, it was -1, -3, 6. And if you did 4, it's 3, -3, -2. Okay? Now, the only difference about the ones that we just did in 5 and 6 is that you're just going to have a smaller matrix for 5 and 6. So on 5 and 6, again, if we're just putting in the numbers, we have 9, 6, 21, -4, -7, 21. So when we put this in, you just have a smaller matrix. You're doing the same exact steps. I would then go to math, the RREF, put this in, press enter, and when you get this, you're gonna get, it'll look like this on this side. So 1, 0, and then 0, 1, because these are X's, are Y's, and in this case, it was 7 and -7. So we would pull this as our answer, and we would say that our solution is 7, -7, right? X equals 7, Y equals -7, okay? Feel free to rewatch this video as many times as you need to. So now what I want you to do is go back to that matrix practice worksheet where you've already completed numbers 1 through 12. Now on the back, go ahead and complete numbers 13 through 20. See what you can do on those. If you're struggling, let me know. I'll be happy to help. All right, Calvin, thanks.